What's the number one thing kids love every weekend? Cartoon marathons. You've had a busy time at school and now you're free to chill every Friday through Sunday with several hours of all your favourites. If you had a VCR in the 1990s and you had a channel of your favourites, whether it be Disney, Cartoon Network or any of the Nick channels, and you had some recordable videos, you were set for life. Disney, Nick and Cartoon Network were the way to go. The first example of a cartoon marathon in my life was on none of these channels. Let me ask my British viewers here. Who here remembers Diggit? No one? Okay, I know what to look at. Something that will sum up Diggit perfectly.
Hey! We're the Whopper! Didn't we get to the point here?
New cartoon mayhem, Diggit in 2000!
Yep, it was all Disney related, and yet it wasn't on Disney. Whatever. I was 5 years old when I began watching this, and it was 1998. I was also starting school as well. What perfect timing. I swear this entire topic is just going to scream perfect timing. So I had school 5 days a week, oh joy, and then I had Diggit on Saturday and Sunday. It began at 7:10 on Saturday and 8 AM on a Sunday. These days, if someone told me to wake up that early on a weekend, I'd tell them to fuck right off. Back in the 90s, however, it only meant more cartoons. The positives immediately outweighed the negatives. 101 Dalmatians, Recess, Timon and Pumbaa, Jungle Cubs, PB&J, I'll take it! This ran until 2003, so that's 5 full years of this every weekend. By the time it ended, I was well into my Cartoon Network period, so I had no issues whatsoever. I wasn't allowed to watch Ed, Edd n Eddy, but I had plenty to work with. I assure you, there was a rational reason for the ban on the Eds.
Dorks! Dorks?
And speaking of Cartoon Network, let's talk briefly about SuperChunk, a weekly event in both Britain and America. 2 straight hours of certain cartoons every Saturday and Sunday. I watched it quite regularly. I actually have a recording of one such broadcast from 2000. I don't remember it running for that long over here, but it was definitely a thing. I remember watching a Tom and Jerry broadcast once. I'm a bit of a Tom and Jerry fan. But forget about SuperChunk. There was something else on Cartoon Network. Something for kids every week. Cartoons. Cartoons every Friday. What did they call it?
1, 2, 3, 4. Cartoon Fridays.
Cartoon Fridays!
Cartoons Fridays.
Superb title. Incredibly original too. For millions of kids, this was their childhood. Every Friday, 2 hours of the classics. Dexter's Lab, Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd n Eddy, Johnny Bravo, what have you. Plus a few new things thrown in every couple of weeks. Friday was just the perfect day for cartoon marathons. Slog through school for the first 5 days, race home on Friday, and we begin the weekend with style.
Is that it?
No, that is not it.
Unfortunately, I don't remember having it in Britain. I mean, the Cartoons brand was definitely active back in the old days, but as far as I can recall, we didn't have it over here, which is a bloomin' shame. Although I suppose I was busy with a certain other children's series and it may have just slipped my mind. And speaking of Cartoon Fridays, it's time we talked about my favourite period of time when it came to TV. I've talked about it before, but I feel the need to bring it up again, because now I have the evidence. While we may not have had Cartoon Fridays per se, we did have something similar. I've highlighted it several times in Recordable Fridays, but it's now time to talk about my feelings.
Come join the fun at Cartoon Network, where cartoons live.
The Toon City era was launched on UK Cartoon Network in April 2005. Within a month, they were running a 2-hour block labelled simply as Cartoons. It was a very vague title, but it probably still worked its magic on me. When I think about those 2 words, this is what I remember.
Cartoons!
Cartoons are the classics I watch every day. Okay, I'm convinced. Dexter's Laboratory, Hi Hi Puffy Amiyumi, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, Codename Kids Next Door, Ed Ed and Eddie, Kevin Chicken, I Am Weasel, Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Billy and Mandy. Never the same episodes, never the same block twice, always a fresh set every single night. It probably only took me 1 or 2 rounds to make me realise this was the greatest thing ever. Hell, by May I was already taping it. This is from 2005 and is one of my favourite tapes in my entire collection. Every time I saw this nighttime promo at 10:59, I knew I was set for the night. It's thanks to this 2-hour period that I grew to love Billy and Mandy and Codename Kids Next Door, my second and third favourite cartoons. Sure, with Billy and Mandy it took a few months, but I got there eventually.
Even a complete and total nincompoop can do it.
Like you?
Yeah, like you.
Now, we need to talk about convenience, how well everything was timed. For one thing, this began in 2005 when I was beginning high school, aka the worst 4+ years of any human's life. When I was at my grandmother's house, I usually slept in the living room where her skybox was. As I mentioned before, I was always guaranteed something different every night. When it did begin, I had my own Sky Plus box in my bedroom, so when I was watching, I wasn't disturbing anyone. When it finished at 1 AM, it was generally bedtime for me. At this time, after the 2-hour session ended, Cartoon Network proceeded to air 2 of my least favourite cartoons, The Cramp Twins and Gadget Boy. Sure, there was Ned Snoot and Kids Next Door, but I could live without Ned Snoot. And as for Kids Next Door, it was the exact same episode that was shown earlier, so I'm missing nothing. For my opinions on Gadget Boy, I refer you to this video. It's not enough Gadget Boy sucked, but it also ran for 3 straight hours, 2 AM to 5 AM. It never aired during the day, just these 3 hours when I was asleep. No complaints here. I wake up in the morning, all straight back to Cartoon Network, CN2 and Toon Disney/Disney Cinemagic. Every single hour of the day, good stuff on all 3 channels. Then of course, there's the negative side to this era. With this 2-hour block, there was a slight issue with advertising. While there was a decent mix of ads airing during the day, when it was CC time, quite often you only saw 1 ad, maybe 2 if you were lucky for the entire night. Let us remember that this was 12 individual cartoons spread out over 2 hours. That means that unless you pre-recorded the block, you're going to see the exact same commercial at least 12 fucking times. I'm serious. With this video from June 2005, it's either a promo for My Pet Alien or Battle Beat'em, 2 shows I have never seen and care even less about after having to endure endless promos for them. I actually went back to the video and counted. In the 3 hours between Dexter's Laboratory and the beginning of Gadget Boy, there's 17 adverts, and it's only these 2. 8 times for Battle Beat'em and 9 times for Pet Alien. If you didn't like Pet Alien before this, you sure as shit are not going to like it afterwards. Then there's Camp Lazlo. After a couple of years, Cow and Chicken was dropped in favour of Camp Lazlo, something I really do not like and have never liked. On the positive side, I distinctly remember Dexter's Laboratory airing at the exact same time on Cartoon Network 2. I could easily switch over for 10 minutes while Camp Lazlo ran. And then there's the big letdown. I've talked about this before, I think twice. It ran from 2005 every single night of the year and ended December 31st, 2010. January 2011 hits, and Cartoon Network goes under pretty radical rejuvenation. All the classics are literally gone overnight. And it remained the same for over 6 years. Even those precious 2 hours every night were gone. These days, I'd be cool with how Cartoon Network is right now if I could just have those 2 hours back. I would be 100% fine with that. Alas, I don't see it happening anytime soon. Whenever a classic cartoon returns to the air, it never lasted. So 6 years later, these videos are the only links to cartoons that I still have. There's 2 crimes here, really. Number 1 is the obvious one. I should have recorded more. I could have invested a fair amount of money into recordable videos or DVDs and recorded as much as I could. Looking back, it probably would have helped had I known it wouldn't have lasted. Even if it was just 1 recording a week, it would have been all good in my books. Then there's problem number 2. In my eyes, this is a capital offence. I should have recorded more Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Say what?
Yeah, I'm serious on this one. I've been a lover for Cartoon Network for nearly 20 years, and Ed, Edd n Eddy is my favourite cartoon of all time. And in my entire collection, I only hold 4 episodes. That's 4 out of 131, not including the movie. I own more episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog, and that wouldn't even crack my top 5 list for Cartoon Network shows. I suppose when you think about it, having these 2 videos is better than nothing. I could have loved the 2 hours for 5 years and have nothing to show for it. That's my entire video and DVD collection in a nutshell. You love something on TV? Show it. Okay, put these back. Happy times. Hey, why is this still out?